Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Taxi! This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Gordon Chang, you guys, the great Asia expert. Gordon, is this true that there's some Harvard professor who essentially is now helping China? And how concerned should we be that our technology is going over to places like China? I guess maybe they paid a little more.
That's certainly true, Rita. Charles Lieber, who was convicted of lying and some other crimes, is now in Shenzhen opening up a brain interface laboratory. In other words, trying to marry computer chips with the human brain. But, you know, this is not only a story of China attracting American talent. This is a failure of the American political system, because when Charles Lieber was convicted, he got 2 days in jail and 6 months of supervised release. And during his supervised release, a federal judge allowed him to go to China 3 times. He said that he had an incurable disease. He got a very light sentence, and he's now been in China for about 5 years. And he's opened up his laboratory there. So, yes, we should be extremely concerned. He's one of the brightest people in the world. And we did not impose the punishment that was absolutely necessary in this case. So that is on us.
You know, Gordon, what's the latest with these military-age men? We've talked about this, John and the judge and Craig and I here, these military-age men who crossed the border under Joe Biden, they well-dressed, armed, doing like target practice, and now you don't hear about them. So I assume they're still here, but it makes me wonder, what are they up to?
Well, they still are in the United States. The Biden administration released them into the general public and has not tracked them. And as far as we can tell, the current administration has not devoted special attention to them. We know that the Chinese networks are here. We know they're dangerous. So, for instance, last month, a Chinese couple, actually brother and sister, planted a bomb at the visitors center at MacDill Air Force Base. Unfortunately, the device didn't go off, but this had all the hallmarks of a Ministry of State Security operation. And unfortunately, the administration has not devoted that attention to these networks, because although Venezuelan gang members are violent and dangerous, Chinese gang members and Chinese agents are here to take down the United States, to kill Americans, not only onesie and twosie, but in large numbers.
Gordon, they're after us. It looks like Chinese are feeding the Mexicans the fentanyl with drugs. It looks like there was a Chinese, they were creating, counterfeit American bills. Are we under attack, or does Xi really want peace?
Well, we are under attack. And the only peace that Xi Jinping wants is one where the United States has submitted to China. We know that the fentanyl gangs are still operating. As we heard from Sarah Carter, President Trump's drug czar, China has not stopped the flow of fentanyl. So you have Chinese technicians working for 2 Mexican cartels. They take precursors from China. They put them into pills through presses that are made in China, and then the cartels smuggle them across the border. But make no mistake, John, this is an attack by the Communist Party, because these fentanyl producers, these gangs are large, they're well organized, they're international in scope, and they could not operate in China's near total surveillance state without the knowledge and approval of Xi Jinping. And in addition, a lot of them are state-owned, they get state subsidies, Chinese diplomats give cover to them. Every container that leaves China is inspected by Chinese officials, and the Chinese gang launder their proceeds through the tightly controlled Chinese state banking system. So it's unmistakable, and we need to recognize that, because if we don't, more Americans are going to die. Last year, 48,000 Americans died from fentanyl overdoses, which are really fentanyl murders.
Wow. You know, I have to ask you about next month or later this month. I mean, it's going to be next week. President Trump is supposed to be going to China.
Should he go or not?
He should not go for a lot of reasons. One of them, of course, is that China is an enemy combatant in the Iran war. That war will still be going on next week in all probability. And our president should not be going to the capital of our enemy. But in addition to that, we have seen that over the course of decades, we have sent our presidents and our cabinet secretaries to Beijing. And although it sounds like it should work, it hasn't. It has just emboldened the Chinese. So this is not good diplomacy for us in general. And we certainly shouldn't be doing it at a time when China is participating in the killing of American service members.
Does the president bring his own food and eats his own food, or does he eat Chinese food?
He's got to eat Chinese food because there are going to be banquets. But, you know, I worry about the safety of the president because we've got to remember that in 2018, 2019, the Chinese were using sonic weapons against our diplomats at our Guangzhou consulate, just like the Russians and the Cubans were using sonic weapons against our diplomats in other locations. So there's always going to be a question of the safety of the president of the United States. And remember, we're in a war, and he's our commander-in-chief. And if he has to give an order to American forces, the issue that we should be knowing about is whether the president will be able to do that and whether the Chinese will try and block that.
Gordon, we're on overtime. Thank you for coming on, and we want to talk more soon.
Yeah, thank you, Gordon. We should talk next week when the president's over there in China.
Well, thank you so much, guys, and
Thank
stay
you.
safe.
Thank you.
Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com.